Hello, welcome back to Shittywebcomics Weekly, brought to you by our Subscribe Star backers. We're demons to some, angels to others, donate to see into the mind of God, whatever. We're wrapping up. This should be the last episode of the saga of Drama Queen when it's still only in its first chapter. Again, when this goes up on our regular main channel, on the regular schedule of Shittywebcomics Weeklies, there will be, probably like 10 chapters out. Or maybe it will be canceled by then. Oh no. But yeah, here's one of the memes that my brother was mentioning. And the last thing is Drama Queen, and it's a guy looking at Drama Queen going, wow, anti-immigrant sentiment, and the bullet being fired over his head is Japanese people will eat anything. And so we get into that with Drama Queen, the first chapter. That's all we'll be looking at because there is no second chapter yet. So here is pink hair, ponytail, double ponytail. Whoa, double ponytail. Girl failure MC. And this also is, this shows what the aliens look like. They're kind of like, they have big, like, lumpy faces with sort of antenna, just kind of goofy. They're very simplistically drawn, as if they're, like out of place with the regular anime world. They have their noses and faces, like their noses, mouths, faces are defined by like a kind of a short, almost sort of suggestive but simplistically drawn, like stubby elephant trunk, and very simplistic eyes as well. And so here's this sort of cover page. Says, these unusual beings blending into the city streets are, ? Translation and lettering, wow. But chapter 1, who needs love when you've got rage? And it's like two of the aliens, their trunks are just touching in public. And then the sky with a bunch of like squiggly lights in the sky. And it says, it's been 9 years since the aliens saved the Earth. The countless spaceships soaring across the skies shone endlessly like shooting stars. And then the real cover page. In a city where humans and aliens loosely coexist, here comes a surrealistic fantasy suspense. Kiss the bitter days goodbye. Drama Queen. By Kuraku Ichikawa. The highly anticipated new series from the author of the critically acclaimed one-shot Ikisura, whatever. So here's some high-rises. And it says, Japan, where aliens and humans live in coexistence. And the banner's on the high-rise, it says in the translation here under the panel. It says, new high-rise luxury apartments for aliens only. Model unit tour available. What's funny is that all the crying about racism, and yet none of the people point out that it's portraying segregation as bad. Like, you could choose to interpret this as the aliens as white people and the average Japanese people as black people, and in the Jim Crow South or something like that. You could choose to do that. I'm not saying that it would be correct or accurate or anything. Somebody could choose to do that maybe as a troll. It would probably be kind of an annoying troll. You're looking for engagement bait? Well, by the time you're listening to this, it's kind of too late anyways, but who cares? Here's another panel. A sign saying hourly parking, 110 yen / 20 minutes, aliens park free. So again, it is showing preferential treatment for the aliens. And it's interesting, the previous panel shows girl meeting alien, and then it's that same girl, she's with the alien. He's got like an earring. And then they're together. The girl looks happy as they're hanging out. And looking into the night sky. This year's MVP winner, they're even better at sports, the aliens are. She's having a gay old time. But meanwhile, here's our girl failure MC. She has a kawaii nosebleed. Oh no, did she see someone's panties?
Actually, she's kind of a combo of, I guess, girl failure and tomboy.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely some tomboy
whatever.
vibes.
Yeah, heavy tomboy vibes.
Yeah. Anyways, she has a nosebleed. Next panel, she's just addresses the aliens, the alien that we just saw with the human girl, and our main chick says, "Hey, you elbowed me in the face when you turned around. The alien goes, "Huh? Who the heck are you? Are you trying to falsely accuse me?" And the girl gets getting pissed off, saying, "There's nothing false about it. I'm clearly bleeding." And the Japanese, the human girlfriend of the alien says, "Excuse my partner. Please accept my apology in his stead." And so our girl failure MC protagonist, hero protagonist, stomping off angrily, saying, freaking aliens, they never apologize. I hope they all die. I hate them, just like I hate women who call their boyfriends their partner."
That is especially a great line. I have to really wonder where the hell it comes from.
Yeah, that's interesting because that seems to be translating universally in some way. Either that or it was localized very accurately.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah, was it actually local? Was it localization?
In a correct way, because you know how it is with manga, the localization is almost always actually accurate. They don't fuck around with that bullshit.
Especially for something new. Something new like this, where it's clearly just being done by somebody who wanted to translate some Shonen Jump manga.
Yeah, localizers usually only go after something that's already been popular because they realize, oh, this is popular, so we can use it to, get the brainwashing, get the popular terms in, and that kind of shit. We can fucking have a character say "What the Sigma" in the new Persona game or the new fucking Elden Ring 2 or whatever. But if it was something that didn't have any presence before then, those localizers are suddenly gone. They have no interest until the fame has already been built up. It's always something that was already popular before that localizers choose to ruin or are brought in to ruin by fucking Mossad or whatever the fuck. But anyway, she says, "I'm grateful that they destroyed the meteorite, but they clearly look down on us humans. But I'd probably be in trouble if I said that."
I do have to add, as much as I think that this entire comic, this comic or manga is merely okay, I definitely appreciate a lot of the subtext working underneath the surface so that the dialogue isn't just explaining everything we're seeing, but actually adding something.
Yeah, I do like that there is just a story about like resentment of it. It's not even that they are aliens. It's that the story is making sure to point out that the aliens are inconsiderate, clumsy, kind of just jerks.
They don't have any respect for the people of Earth.
Yeah.
They're treating Earth like it's their personal playground.
Yeah,
that's
what it seems to be portraying, and I think that's interesting as a story, even if it's something that is wrong or disagreeable, or if I disagree. If I was like, this is wrong, I disagree with this, but it would still be interesting to read, and I would want to read more. Anyways, she walks by some posters of like sad girl in snow surrounded by like meteorite stuff that is, going to be relevant. The poster says New Universe Week, remembering our love and gratitude from that day. Forced gratitude, if you will. But news thing says this year's New Universe Week begins. The newscast saying the alien population in Japan has exceeded 17 million, surpassing 60,000 in Senu City alone. As today marks the start of New Universe Week, we interviewed several of the locals, and here's just our girl failure MC saying, "Move it, blockheads." And the aliens are wearing like gigantic headphones around their ears. Not sure why. Maybe they just got their headphones, in case they want to listen to something. Or are they like noise canceling headphones because they're also autistic? It also somebody
I don't think they're autistic.
I
Maybe
remember
that's the secret. Again, this is the first chapter.
somebody
Maybe
else
that's the
pointed
secret is
out
that the aliens are autistic.
in this panel that there is an African American or African Japanese, I don't know, that there's a black guy in this panel, as if to draw some kind of distinction. Is that the one of the many secret
So,
neo-Nazi Trump-supporting dog whistles? I don't know, perhaps. But here's a lady with her kid. She says, "Thank you,
but a
aliens, for
metaphor.
finding our planet. It's thanks to you destroying that giant meteorite that was headed for Earth that we're alive and well today." Wow. Wow.
Wow.
But that's also, it's establishing, what happened, why the aliens showed up,
Yeah.
why
Very efficient.
we're supposed to be grateful to them.
Very efficient storytelling. We're getting a lot of information in a short amount of time.
Yes.
With both show and tell.
In a way, this is, the a good way to do that is the news media showing people's reaction and responses, much like the other wonderful classic RoboCop. If you're going to steal from the best, as they say, or a good artist borrow, great artist steal. And it isn't really stealing, of course, but I just
It's
wanted
not
to
stealing.
make sure to reference RoboCop. That's important. RoboCop kind of did that the best, showing like some quick exposition through,
It's funny,
almost satirical news.
When a lot of people
flashes,
like either quote or think of RoboCop, they usually don't think of the news segments.
which
But
are
those
some of
news
the best
segments
moments.
are so efficient.
They're some of the best, very quick comedy breaks, while at the same time some of the best exposition in movie and storytelling history. That's why, unironically, I'm constantly swearing up and down that RoboCop is one of the greatest works of art ever crafted by the hand of man. That's something we've been saying for many years in our videos, going back to the original blog, all of that shit. Here's another couple. I think this girl is saying, "We just got back from the moon." And the guy saying, "Spaceflight has become more accessible with the aliens' technology. We're eternally grateful." And it's interesting because it's intercutting this with the girl, and she's kind of looking a little sort of sullen in this panel, and then in the next one she's just kind of looking away, as if to look away from the thought of people being happy about the aliens. So it's a good sort of mix and match of responses and panels. And the art is very simple and clean also. So it's very effective in being coherent, which a lot of people, especially American comic fans, are not smart enough to comprehend. I noticed.
They have no appreciation of that.
And I say
Very
this as
few
somebody,
comic fans in general, actually, because that's also true for manga.
we've been
also
saying,
true for
we are.
manga.
I say this as the people who have been very consistently saying for decades, before everyone else on the planet, that manga and anime are some of the most overrated shit in history. But the thing is, they have been mastering the art of sequential art. And that is why Japan has been doing it better, even with it being overrated. They're still doing it better than America.
You know what comes after manga
comics.
as far as being overrated nowadays anyway? Marvel Comics.
Yes. Marvel.
The Avengers.
Shit. But anyways, here though, this next one is, she's looking up a sign of just burgers, as if and she looks away as if burgers. But she says, "How many years has it been since I ate meat? My paychecks are abysmal. I miss eating good." And I'm wondering if the burgers are like cost prohibitive now, or if the burgers are not actual meat.
That is a somewhat common sci-fi trope, is just because I remember that was in Blade Runner. It's not even necessarily in the movie.
Yeah.
But it's just all animal species on the planet are extinct.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a part of the original story. Do androids
I'm listening to
dream
the book,
of electric sheep?
I'm listening to the audiobook, which it turns out was only like 5 hours, and it's just on YouTube. So I'm starting to listen to that, and I think it just goes right into that. It doesn't hide that there's like a nuclear war. Afterwards, most of the people left, and the people who were left on Earth are sort of left on a planet that doesn't have real animals. And that's actually where replicants came from, is they just made fake animals, basically. And then from there, they started making fake humans. But anyways, she says, my paychecks are abysmal. I miss eating good. And she says, no, I can't fall into self-pity. This is also kind of an important plot element, as it turns out later in this first chapter. Her talk about eating and her desire for good food. That plays into something later, of course, as you've probably been tipped off by the fucking
and meat.
The meme that we went into already.
Yeah.
But she's
sort
of
manga,
saying...
So far, this manga, especially if you saw the meme, you know that this manga is basically only about two things. It's anti-alien racism and eating. It's like Dungeon Meshi.
Yeah, there's. I remember a few comments being like, "Is this going to be the next Dungeon Meshi?" Which would be a good thing.
Yeah,
if
like
somebody says,
Meshi,
"Yeah, it just turns into a bunch of recipes."
Everything in the dungeon instead of the tremendous amounts of respect that Lias and fucking Senshi have for the creatures of the dungeon.
Yeah. Anyway, she continues walking, just saying, "Miseries for the weak. Gotta stay positive." But yet it's almost like mope porn, where the artist is clearly
doomer.
Is fetishizing depressed-looking girls.
How she's also a smelly femcel.
Yes, smelly, dumb femcel scum. But
and also was it a girl failure? That was it.
Yes. It's like the artist really loves drawing this depressed-looking girl. You can tell. And especially giving her nosebleeds.
One of the best and most overlooked ways to make a female character suffer is psychologically.
Yes. And to just make it look worn on her face, for sure.
Yes.
But here...
Because everyone else is familiar with Riona, which, as you can also see from this comic, has already been in here.
We did also pioneer... We are pioneers, explorers in the furthest reaches of experience, as usual. And did
we make sure to mention that?
For a specific instance, is we are pioneers in appreciating Riona. Probably the first people in the history of the internet to even make a video about it. But anyways, speaking of which, in fact, this comic has already had it and is going to continue to have it, because on the next page, it's her in her wagey cap, in her wagey uniform with another nosebleed. And then this alien guy is yelling at her with alien speech. And he's also spraying himself with like some kind of...
It looks like Japanese. That's the really funny part, is it just looks like it's Japanese, but it's actually, in fact, alien speech, which she can't comprehend.
Yeah, so it might as well be Japanese to an English reader. But he's just chewing her out.
Rooms.
Yeah, and he's chewing her out. And also something else that's interesting is that he's sweating profusely. And so is everyone else here, including all the people. And so the main character girl says, "Why's he gotta hit me, huh, every damn time?" And another girl says, "Nomamoto's in trouble with the boss again." Another girl says, and the other girls are sweating too. And they go, the last girl says, "It's because she's always scowling. I don't like her either." The next panel, though, the alien is just continuing to yell while also spraying himself with that can. And the girl is saying, "Guess I'd get fired if I hit him back, huh?" And then the alien guy is like reaching back and accidentally elbows the guy behind the alien. And the guy says, "You hit me, hey." And girl looks over, and the alien's saying some stuff. The guy says, "I don't know what you're saying. How are you the boss when you can't even speak this planet's language?" And continuing saying, "Not to mention these garbage working conditions. You won't even turn on the AC, and no one even complains. Good for you, making easy money on the backs of others." The alien turns around, pretty annoyed, but he walks off. And so she finds him after work, it looks like, and says, "Thanks for that back there. I'm Namamoto." And he says Kitami, so that's his name. And she's holding up a coffee, premium black, and he says, "That coffee for me." She goes, "Yep, and aren't I cool?" So he has it, and he goes, I would probably have been a huge, it probably would have been a huge ordeal if we hit him back, considering the higher ups here are all aliens. Society's on their side after all. Cue to girl failure, by the way, has sort of turned up her ponytails so that they're ringed up her ponytails in a way. Sort of like Chun-Li a little bit or something. I don't know, whatever, who cares. But she also has like a Kleenex stuffed up one of her nostrils to stop all the bleeding. Stop all the bleeding. But
Stop all the downloading.
the guy looks up, kind of just in general annoyance, and she's looking at him, and she says, "What's this guy getting all deep for? Kind of creeps me out." And because she said that out loud, so he says, "Say that after I leave." And then another kind of a shot of the sky with a bunch of the streaks in the air of the alien ships that are constantly flying around the planet's sky and shit. Pay slip, net pay, 100,000 yen. And it points out, the translation note actually points out, which is very nice and appreciative.
Yeah, helpful translation note here.
Yeah, it says 100,000 JPY or yen is approximately 1,000 USD, which is the hard and fast rule I've been going by. Is basically, if you see an amount of yen, just cut off the last two digits. Treat them as 1 yen is 1 cent.
As far as I know, there is no cents in the yen.
Yeah, there are no pennies necessarily, but
if there are pennies or whatever, I've never heard of them.
But 1 yen is a cent. Generally, it's not exact, but it's about that. It's been kind of consistently about that for a while now.
It's like 1.2 or 1.1.
Yeah, it's something like that. But anyways, so she's looking at that on her phone, and she says, "How can you call that a full-time wage? I want to find a new job, but who's going to hire a 17-year-old with no skills? And I don't want to turn to my crappy parents after cutting ties. I don't get how people can work for this kind of chump change with a smile on their face. Are they happy working themselves to the bone for an alien boss?"
That also kind of brings up the question of, like, is this exchange rate thing or something, and also, is this per week or per month? Because if it's per week, $1,000 a week is a lot. So I assume it's a month.
But it's also like the cost of living may have gone up under this alien world.
Yeah.
And I think that's supposed to be established by how she's saying this. 1,000 or 100,000 yen per whatever 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month is not really enough to live on anymore in this world, apparently.
Yeah.
I think
that's inflation, in other words. Inflation has gone up, and so as a result, a lot of people are now suffering because of the what caused the inflation, do we wonder?
And the thing is that I guess you could say a flaw in this so far is that it doesn't establish that it's inflation or that the cost of living has gone up.
Yeah, no. You have to assume that.
Yeah.
Which you can easily.
You can, but it's also without having a sign in front of you to tell you that, or something on the screen. Her saying, "This used to be a lot of money, but after inflation, blah, blah, blah."
Technically, she did.
Yeah, well, only technically. So it's a little loose, but it's what I'm assuming. And again, what happens when we assume. We're right. Anyways, she continues just, sitting there, still moping, saying, "I don't get how..." Oh, yeah, well, I read that. And she looks in the sky again, a bunch of streaks in the sky, and she says, "I wish they'd all just disappear." And continuing, she says, "Sure, they saved us, and I guess I'm thankful for the new technology they gave us, but something's still bugging me. It ain't right. I hate this." And she says, "But I'd probably be in trouble if I said that too. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's like I'm not supposed to feel this way."
This is also one of the things I would say
it shows the posters,
this is one of the things we want to make stories about. And this is what indies should be making stories about, but they just don't, because a lot of them are cowards.
Yeah, they're cowards, and they don't really have any talent or skill. They don't have anything interesting to say.
You know who does do this stuff? Common America.
Yeah, but not specifically like this. Not
Yeah, no,
anti-immigrant or
it's
anything.
not as on the
But
nose. It's a lot more gentle.
it has like couched social commentary. Like even the fight the light stuff is basically kind of a statement, a very subtle statement, a very hidden statement about the vax, the clot shot,
Yeah.
that kind of
Well, I
stuff.
was also going to say it's about global warming or something
Yeah, it
because
can be
they're
read that
fighting
way
light.
too,
They're
actually.
literally fighting light pollution.
Yes. But anyways, yeah, she says, no matter how you look at it, it's like I'm not supposed to feel this way with the posters of the like sad girl in snow or appreciative girl in snow with the asteroid fragments and that kind of stuff in the background, which
It
goes
looks
to
like
show
a
it's
Holocaust
pointing out the
memorial.
counterpoint of the media propaganda telling you how you're supposed to feel grateful, whereas she doesn't, meaning she's feeling even more alienated from society when society's trying to tell her she's not supposed to feel the way that she feels. So that communicates
Yeah,
very nicely just with this one panel too.
yeah, and very effectively stated in
Mm-hmm.
the comic and by us too, because we're so good at this. But also,
Shrimply the
just
best.
this is something people need to be talking about, and a lot of people are thinking about, but no
Yeah.
one's really saying out loud.
Anyway,
And
she
now you
says
can see why from the reaction people on Twitter are having.
she's looking at her phone. She says, misery is for the weak. Time to watch some dog videos till I
She's
forget how hungry I
she's
am.
not black pilled. She's not actually
Yeah,
black
she's
pilled.
trying to white pill herself. She sees a dog video and it says, I caught a fish and gave it to my dog. So next thing, she's down at the water and she's got a fishing pole. So again, it is because of storytelling, not and then storytelling. The stuff that
Yes.
happens in previous panels leads directly to what happens next
Which, if you're going to
in
do
the
something
comic,
like
in the
this,
story.
you need to
Yes.
make sure that you're establishing things because this is an unusual something you just aren't going to see anywhere else.
Yeah, indie comics have no understanding of because of storytelling or, therefore storytelling.
Whatever the opposite of and then storytelling
Yes.
is.
And again, that's another thing we've gone into in greater detail in our other videos on our Subscribe Star. But here, getting back to this, she's, at the beach, basically, got a fishing pole, and she meets the guy there. And she says, hey, Katami, what are you doing here? What you doing here? And he says, I'm from around here, been coming to this beach since I was a kid. Did you come to fish? And she says, you got it. Check out this pole I made. And he says, you won't catch anything out here this time of year. And she's immediately downtrodden again.
Crestfallen.
Utterly, she's butt blasted.
She's she's the most crestfallen because she's actually a stacked tomboy, like all tomboys should be. She has huge cans underneath some kind of binding or some sports
Yeah,
bra.
they're way
Probably.
underneath, of course.
Smushed way underneath some very baggy clothes.
Smooshed. But anyways, he says, let me see that. So he gets the pole. And again, there's, just all sorts of, like, quivering streaks in the sky from the fucking... It's interesting, every time you can clearly see the sky, it's almost always showing just
The
constant...
artist didn't
It's like
forget to add
oppressive
that
streaks.
detail because that detail is important.
Yes.
You need to know how powerful the aliens are.
How inescapable their presence is, too. You
Yes.
can't even look at the sky without seeing them constantly shooting around in it. But, yeah, so the guy is, Kitami is fishing, and there's a bucket there. He catches this tiny-ass, stinky-ass little fish. He goes, finally one little guy after 3 whole hours. She goes, he looks tasty. So he goes, it's yours if you want it. She goes, for real? And he says, I caught it with your pole after all. And then, cool, thanks. And then the fish just flops right back into the water. And then, of course, she's crestfallen again. And so they sit down. Kitami says, the world sure has changed in such a short matter of years. The ocean's surface now reflects thousands of spaceships in the sky. The ocean I used to know and love, where I'd play with my family, is no more. But today reminded me of how I used to go fishing with my little sister. It was pretty nice. And So I forgot the chick's name already, but Girl Failure. We'll just call her Girl Failure because
We're just referring to her as Girl Failure
Yes.
from now on.
She
Or
says,
Stinky Femcell.
yeah, Stinky Femcell
Smelly Femcell.
goes, so you're a big bro. How old's your sister? And he says, she's already gone. And then she's like, oh. And he says, my whole family was killed by aliens. And she's like, whoa. And he says they were celebrating her acceptance into high school when one of their fancy cars came flying in reverse. Well, you get the idea. I'm sure it was a drunk driver. The culprit got away, and the police didn't even try looking. And she says, why not? And he goes, I don't know. Probably too afraid it would turn into an interplanetary issue if they weren't careful. And they're just sitting there still, and he says, hey, don't you think it's weird? Everything just happened to all work out in their favor. Sometimes I wonder, and then here's a big shot of the asteroid with the alien trunk nose face mouth thing sort of almost hiding behind the asteroid. And it says, was there even a giant meteorite heading for Earth to begin with? We will continue and read the rest of this in the next part, in the actual for sure last part of this video. So,
should have been over by now.
Yeah.
Last part.
But again, if you're on the Subscribe Star,
Honestly,
just keep watching.
If you're on our Discord, just go read it. Well, we posted
Yeah,
again.
there's
we
that
broke
also.
the news.
But
The first day one, we're there. Just
Yeah.
like with everything else, with Gamergate, we were there day one. Comicsgate.
before
day
it was
one.
called Gamergate, before Comicsgate was called back when Comicsgate was initially acknowledged as a shitty, dumb name, before anyone ever came up with the name Comicsgate.
You actually
were
said
already
in
there.
2015, it's like,
Yes.
if there is a Comicsgate,
We have the
it's not
receipts
going
of
to
that
work.
too, of course. But anyways,
And we did videos about this already.
the thing is, the video is a good way to archive the stuff we've talked about on our Discord.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Discord is the cutting edge. Our Discord is truly the furthest reach of human experience. So it's the best way to keep up to date. And especially if you read every single thing that ever gets posted to our Discord. But if it's really good enough, we turn it into a video, and the video is a great way to archive and keep it historically preserved. So our videos are the best way also. But the best way to watch our videos, of course, is the Subscribe Star. So once again, if you're on the Subscribe Star watching this, good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. And for everyone else, should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.